Well, hello everyone out there on Rumble and YouTube land. I'm only anticipating that you are looking for Pharmacist Ben. However, because I did not do my homework and double check, I didn't recognize that Pharmacist Ben is visiting with family this week and will not be on the show tonight. So it is just me, Coach AJ. There's no Pharmacist Ben. So I do apologize for sending you all an email and letting you folks come in and be all salivating to see Pharmacist Ben, because it's just me tonight. There is no Pharmacist Ben. And I just want to take a couple minutes to say hello and thank you all for tuning in. Just mention a couple housekeeping things. The topic tonight was based on some articles that Pharmacist Ben had sent us, and just the thought of us needing to take responsibility for our own health as opposed to having others dictate what our health outcomes are going to be by using pharmaceuticals when we should be utilizing our brains and knowing that what we put in our mouths or inject into our arms and eventually everything that gets into our bloodstream is what affects our health. And that is the key to what we kind of talk about: the root, not the fruit. The fruit is the manifestation of the issue that we have, but what we put in or neglect to put in will determine our outcomes. And obviously, we're not what we eat, but we are what we absorb. So we want to make our environments amicable to the good things that we want to put in. So that is point number one. Point number two: if you are a prayerful person, be sure and send one out for Pharmacist Ben and his family, and I'm sure that he will appreciate the sentiment and the good vibrations. So that is point number two, and really that's point number one. Point number three is we are a community of certified holistic health coaches in general, and folks who are advocating for you to take control of your own health journey. And we are always looking for others to join what Dr. Wallach has started as a crusade 30 years ago, plus maybe 40 years ago. And if you would like to be a part of our team, first and foremost, if someone invited you to watch this show, which is going to be very brief because there's no Pharmacist Ben, if someone invited you, you get back with that person. If you have a health question, be sure to email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. That's questions@dailywithdoc.com. If you would like to speak to a certified holistic health coach, feel free to reach out at the number on the bottom of the screen, 855-949-3377. Be sure to do that. And as well, as I was kind of getting at, is we are looking for people who want to help their community. If you have an opportunity to do so, please do so. And we just want to say another special shout out to Becca Dukes. This is Family Week, where Becca Dukes is visiting with her mom also. We want to give a nice shout out to Mama Dukes out in Washington and thank her for producing such a lovely young lady who is helping thousands and thousands of people have better health journeys. And the same goes with Pharmacist Ben. This is a guy who spends countless hours on a weekly basis doing the same, helping others. So the point of today is, if you would like to ask a question, be sure to go ask that question at questions@dailywithdoc.com. If you just would like to research on your own and learn more about what we're talking about, what we do, why we do it, you can go to dailywithdocteam.com. Now, put that on a ticker here, dailywithdocteam.com. That would be a good place for you to go to get some information. dailywithdocteam.com as well. Of course, dailywithdoc.com. You can watch all different replays, get some products, etc. And of course, you see triangleofdisease.com. Be sure to read the description on whatever platform you're watching us on, and you will see the different sites that you can get more information. I would suggest anyone not really familiar with what we do, that you go to dailywithdocteam.com. There are a lot of questions that have come in. I apologize for having you folks think that Pharmacist Ben would be here. He will not be around on Friday for Daily with Doc either. But if you do email questions@dailywithdoc.com, we will be sure to get those questions answered for you. I guess I'm just going to wrap my statement by letting you know that there is a video that I'm going to play. It's about 7 minutes, and it talks about the whole concept of the root, not the fruit. We are talking about, you want to go upstream. You want to go to where the problem began. The problem didn't begin with the acne that you see on your skin. The problem did not begin with the edema that you see, your swollen ankles and legs. That's not where the problem began. The problem did not begin with your headache. But we take things and do things to address those issues directly there, where we need to go to the root of the problem. So I'm going to play a small video and then end the show that way. I thank you all for tuning in. I do apologize, but we will be back without fail next Monday night at 9 p.m. Thank you very much.
Hey, welcome to The Explainer. This is where we take really big, sometimes complicated ideas and, well, we break them down into frameworks you can actually use.
So today, we're going to unpack something really interesting. It's Pharmacist Ben Fuchs' whole philosophy on why we get sick, and more importantly, his unified strategy for health. We're going to start with a frustration I think a lot of us share, then we'll travel upstream to what he says are the real root causes, and finally, we'll look at his big picture solution. All right, let's dive right in. And we're going to start with a feeling that, well, it's something a lot of us know all too well. It's that feeling of being caught in a frustrating cycle, especially if you're dealing with a chronic health issue. You know the drill, right? You're bouncing from one specialist to the next, just trying to get some answers. I mean, it seems like the logical thing to do, doesn't it? You've got an issue with a specific part of your body, so you go see the doctor who specializes in exactly that part. But here's where Pharmacist Ben Fuchs throws a wrench in the works. He asks a really critical question. What if this super-focused approach, this laser focus, is actually making us miss the bigger picture entirely? So, an eye problem? Off you go to the ophthalmologist. A heart issue, and bam, you're seeing a cardiologist. And, a skin thing pops up, so it's a visit to the dermatologist. And look, each of these experts is doing their job, right? They're diligently tackling their one specific piece of the puzzle. But here's the kicker. According to Fuchs, this whole fragmented approach, it completely misses the point. He argues that all of these separate, diverse symptoms, from your kidneys to your skin to whatever else, they aren't separate problems at all. They're just different branches on the same dying tree. They're all signs of one single systemic issue that he, pretty bluntly, calls MBFA disease, or my body is falling apart disease. Okay, so if chasing down each individual symptom isn't the answer, then what is? Well, this is where Fuchs says we need to adopt a totally new first principle. And this right here, this is his core idea. He says, where you see the problem is not where the problem begins. The symptom you're looking at is just a signal. The real cause, that's located upstream. So what does he actually mean by going upstream? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It means you have to trace that symptom, whatever it is, all the way back to its true origin. And Fuchs argues that this journey, it almost always leads you back to the body's main operating systems, your digestion and your metabolism. But he's really clear on one point. The digestive system, it's not just another part to look at. He says it is the root system. It's the soil that your entire health grows out of. Okay, so let's actually follow that stream, right? Let's go upstream. The first major system we hit is the blood. And according to Fuchs, the blood can become, well, a literal highway for toxicity. His claim is this: all disease is cell disease. It all starts at the cellular level. And why do cells get sick? Because of what the blood delivers to them. Or, just as important, what it fails to deliver. So Fuchs points a finger at two main culprits that make our blood dirty, as he calls it. First up, you've got a compromised gut. You've probably heard the term leaky gut, and that's when stuff that's supposed to stay in your digestive system leaks out into your bloodstream. Not good. And the second big one? High blood sugar. He says sugar acts like a toxin that literally makes your blood thick and sludgy, and that sludgy blood is a major driver of inflammation all over the body. And this is where a really dangerous chain reaction kicks off. This toxic, sludgy blood, it just can't do its job right. It can't deliver oxygen and nutrients the way it's supposed to. So what happens? Your organs start to get starved, and at the same time, they're getting poisoned. And that just leads to this massive cascade of problems everywhere in the body. This brings us to a really powerful analogy he uses. Fuchs calls our circulatory system the railroad of toxicity. Just picture it. This dirty, sludgy blood is like a train chugging through your entire body, and it's making stops at every single station, the heart, the brain, the skin, you name it, and at every single stop, it's dropping off a little toxic package. Okay, so we've talked about the blood. But if we go even further upstream, there's another absolutely critical area, the very structure that literally holds our body together. We're talking about connective tissue. And this is where he really flips the script on how we think about aging. He takes all these common conditions and reframes them as just a breakdown of this one thing, connective tissue. I mean, think about this for a second. Glaucoma? He says that's not just an eye problem, it's osteoporosis of the eye. Wrinkles on your skin? That's osteoporosis of the skin. All of a sudden, you see it's all pointing back to the same fundamental mechanism. And the way he describes his connective tissue it's just incredible. It's not just some boring, passive scaffolding holding you up. No, he calls it the goo and the glue of the body. It's the jello mold that gives your organs their shape and holds them in place. And get this, he even calls it the womb for every single cell, the very matrix that nurtures them. This all leads him to coin this amazing and kind of funny term for what we see as aging. He calls it blobification. You know, that sagging, that loss of firmness and structure that we all notice over time? He says at its core, that's just blobification. It's the physical sign that our vital connective tissue is breaking down. Okay, so if the big root problems are dirty blood and deteriorating connective tissue, what do we do about it? What's the solution? Well, Fuchs proposes a unified strategy that goes right after these root causes. So you can forget the old idea of a specific pill for a specific ill. His solution is a multi-pronged approach that's all about restoring the body's foundation. It means you stop chasing symptoms and you start focusing on the real stuff. You focus on fixing the gut to clean up the blood at the source. You work on controlling your blood sugar to get rid of that toxic sludge. You use strategic supplements to literally rebuild that connective tissue. You improve oxygenation, and that can be as simple as deep breathing. And finally, you help your entire system detoxify itself. And this, right here, really captures that fundamental shift in thinking. The standard medical model often feels like you're just treating the rotten fruit on the tree. You're focused on the symptom. This systemic model, it's about ignoring the fruit for a second, getting down on your hands and knees, and focusing all of your energy on nourishing the roots of the tree. And that really is the crucial takeaway from all this.
Once you start to understand these upstream mechanisms, your whole role can shift. You go from being a passive patient, just receiving treatments, to becoming an active, empowered participant in your own health story. So ultimately, this whole framework challenges us to ask a new question. What if that problem you're dealing with isn't the problem at all? What if it's just a signal, a message from your body inviting you to look deeper, to go upstream, and to finally find the true underlying cause?
Okay, folks. So I wonder about this next one. I want you to comment if you think that this is accurate or not. This is
You survived cancer, but the treatments that saved your life often leave the body in a state of extreme physical trauma. You may find yourself dealing with shedding tissue, exposed nerve endings, and constant pain. Standard pharmaceutical relief frequently fails in these cases because the core issue is structural. Your connective tissue matrix, the biological womb where your cells live, has physically dissolved. Healing this environment is a mechanical process. It requires rebuilding the matrix from the ground up using specific raw materials. By following a strict 5-step recipe, you can provide the body with the components needed to patch raw nerve endings and reconstruct your cellular matrix. Step 1 is vitamin C. This nutrient acts as the absolute biological rate limiter for tissue creation, meaning your body is physically unable to manufacture new connective tissue without it. In cases of extreme post-cancer tissue trauma, standard oral doses are generally insufficient to meet the body's repair demands. Intravenous vitamin C allows for much higher concentrations to reach the matrix, where it serves as a primary anti-inflammatory and natural pain reliever. Step 2 involves polysaccharides. The matrix is a wet environment that requires specific biological mush to maintain its structure. You can source these materials from FucoidZ, algae, aloe vera, and fresh vegetable juices. These polysaccharides act as sticky electromagnetic seeds. They bind with water to create a protective barrier that patches up raw, exposed nerve endings. Combining the rate-limiting power of vitamin C with these electromagnetic seeds creates the foundational environment necessary to sustain new cellular life. Step 3 is the scaffolding. Your body cannot synthesize new tissue out of thin air. It requires heavy structural rebar to replace what was shredded. To saturate the system, it needs specific structural elements: collagen peptides, high-quality whey protein, and specialized glucogel capsules. Treat this post-cancer matrix damage with the same aggressive structural approach used to address severe degenerative arthritis. Step 4 is stopping the leak. Providing premium raw materials is useless if you continue to subject the system to metabolic stress. This illustrates the futility of building while simultaneously destroying. You cannot repair a house while the foundation is being undermined. This requires an immediate halt to toxic inputs, specifically fried fats, processed sugars, and the standard American diet. Physical recovery remains impossible if the intake of inflammatory toxins outpaces your body's ability to lay down new connective rebar. The fifth and final requirement for this protocol is neurological. The body suspends tissue rebuilding when stuck in a sympathetic emergency mode, blocking nutrients from entering the matrix. Repair only occurs when shifting into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest. This is the exclusive environment where connective repair is permitted. You can force the body into this state through mechanical actions like deep diaphragmatic breathing, targeted gratitude, and prayer. Regulating your thoughts gives the biological machinery the necessary permission to divert energy away from defense and toward healing. Without this neurological signal, even a perfect diet and supplement protocol will remain dormant and unused by yourselves. The matrix reconstruction protocol is complete. These 5 pillars, vitamin C, polysaccharides, structural proteins, toxin removal, and a regulated nervous system, rebuild the body. The human body is a regenerating machine designed to renew itself continually. Healing is your body's default nature, the moment it is provided with the correct raw materials and relieved of metabolic stress. You can move past the fear of your symptoms. By beginning the mechanical reconstruction protocol today, you can take back control of your internal matrix.
okay. To me, that one was pretty powerful. I need you to comment on what your thoughts on that were. And then the last I'm going to show you is talking about absorption, because you're not what you eat, you are what you absorb.
In this generated video, a single red blood cell slowly deflates and loses its color in a dark void. This is the visual reality of anemia, a condition where the blood lacks the healthy cells needed to transport oxygen. Every day, millions dutifully swallow iron supplements to combat this, yet their blood work remains unchanged. We often blame the supplement's quality or the brand's strength, but the true flaw lies within the body's internal delivery system. Swallowing a mineral is merely the first step. It does not guarantee your body will actually absorb it. If the physiological pipeline is blocked, the raw material is useless. Resolving chronic anemia requires a structural mission to unblock 3 specific anatomical bottlenecks, a goal that remains out of reach by simply increasing the daily dosage. The journey begins at the stomach, the first critical barrier. To break down raw iron, the stomach must maintain an intensely corrosive environment with a pH level between 1 and 2. pH is a scale used to specify the acidity or basicity of an aqueous solution. Manufacturing this hydrochloric battery acid requires a steady supply of chloride, the essential raw material the body uses to fuel digestion. This historic photograph shows workers mining raw salt deep underground. Historically, the body relied on sodium chloride to produce digestive acids. However, modern medically recommended low-salt diets can inadvertently starve the stomach of this critical building block. Without adequate chloride, acid production drops. The iron capsule remains intact, passing through the stomach without ever being dissolved or utilized. Supplementing iron while simultaneously restricting salt creates a biochemical stalemate. The body lacks the tools to process the very nutrients it needs. If the iron manages to dissolve, it reaches the small intestine. This is the primary site where minerals cross the final barrier into the bloodstream. This microscopic image shows healthy intestinal villi. These are tiny, finger-like structures that act like an absorbent shag rug, maximizing the surface area available to capture nutrients. This historic photograph captures workers threshing wheat in the field. Modern wheat, barley, rye, and oats all contain gluten, a protein that can act as a contact toxin for sensitive intestinal tissues. Upon contact with gluten, these delicate villi swell up, suffocating their internal blood supply. Eventually, they die off, leaving behind restrictive scar tissue. This animated diagram illustrates the physical damage. The complex, folded surface on the left flattens into the smooth line on the right, causing the absorptive surface area to plummet by 98%. The intestine transforms into a non-absorbent plastic tube. Once the gut becomes a smooth tube, systemic malnutrition is inevitable. At this stage, no amount of oral iron can penetrate the scarred barrier. This microscopic image shows the bone marrow matrix, located deep within the skeletal system. This is the final destination for successfully absorbed iron. By focusing on the dense clusters of purple-stained cells, we can see the body's active manufacturing zones. The marrow is a high-speed factory, and iron is only one of the materials required to build a red blood cell. To keep the assembly line moving, the body requires cofactors, helper nutrients like copper, zinc, and vitamin B12. These work alongside the foundational 90 essential nutrients to complete the synthesis of blood. If the factory lacks structural materials like collagen or is missing one minor cofactor, production halts. The machinery remains idle despite the presence of iron. Chronic anemia is frequently the signal of a total factory failure in the marrow, caused by these missing cofactors rather than a simple iron deficit. Clearing these bottlenecks requires a roadmap to repair the anatomy and restore the body's natural production. Step 1 is the immediate elimination of all dietary gluten. This stops the ongoing scarring and allows the delicate intestinal villi to slowly regrow their vital absorptive texture. Step 2 focuses on the stomach. Reintroducing salt to taste and using digestive enzyme supplements helps restore the corrosive environment needed to dissolve minerals effectively. Next, flood the system with the 90 essential nutrients, specifically copper, alongside collagen and MSM. MSM is a naturally occurring sulfur compound the body uses to provide structural scaffolding for tissues. Step 5 utilizes highly bioavailable liquid mineral supplements. These bypass many digestive hurdles to ensure the factory in the bone marrow finally receives its missing components. Chronic anemia is a mechanical failure, not a permanent genetic sentence. By finally unblocking the supply chain, you give your body the exact tools it needs to rebuild itself.
You give your body the exact tools it needs, and whether or not you agree, this is what we're talking about. We talked about looking at the root cause of an issue. We talked about the environment of the blood. And then we talked about how to absorb nutrients through the digestive system. If the digestive system is not readily available to accept nutrients, you're not going to do so. And we also talked about how to rebuild the body. So what we want to do is, if you've got questions, and thanks, Harry. Thanks, Becca, for being here. Harry's all the way down under and tuning in. It's probably morning for him now. So we're looking into the future. Harry's message is coming to us from the future. So if you are able to help others or have a desire to help others, we can teach you how to be a health coach. If you are looking for help, reach out to us. Either way, we'd love to hear from you. So please email us at questions@dailywithdoc.com. Questions@dailywithdoc.com. Tell us what you thought. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you're looking for. Tell us how we can help you. And tell us if you'd like to help others. That's what we're here to do. Got to spread the word. You got to help people take their power back and not remain a human guinea pig. And that is my spiel. And I will see you all next time.